Wow, YouTube says I'm live. I wasn't sure if I was gonna do this. I've made videos in the past, cute little videos about crafts and DIYs and money saving tips. And now I'm here looking my worst in my glasses, no makeup, haven't showered in 3 days at least. I've gained 30 pounds and I've decided to come to you on a live stream location. I don't have the prettiest background. I'm not set up to be like this YouTube beauty queen. And the main topic I want to talk about is long COVID and POTS because that's what I have been diagnosed with. Let's see here. Trying to give you a timeline. I have extreme brain fog, so I will tell you right now that even if I have a plan in my head of what I want to say, it doesn't mean that's exactly what's going to come out today. But I'm hoping this probably won't be my only video of sharing with you about my journey. But I decided if I share my journey when I feel at my worst, and that as I get better, and you can watch me turn back into normal Maura from Happy Deal, Happy Day, then that might be encouraging for someone else who's going through this. Because I know 1000% I am not the only person going through this. But I do want to share what I'm going through. So today, I don't want to take like a 20-minute long video. I want to do something just a little bit shorter, giving you the background of how I ended up in this place. And that I really hope the other people that have long COVID or have POTS can watch this and relate to it and leave comments, and we can build a community and talk about what's helped and what hasn't helped, and really just try to build up a group of people where we can somehow learn to get our lives back together. That's my biggest purpose. A little background on me. I'm 44 years old. I graduated valedictorian of my high school class. I taught high school biology for 8 years. After I got a master's degree in science education, I have a bachelor's degree in biology. I have a minor in chemistry. I taught biology, like I said, for 8 years. Loved it. I was a fantastic teacher. I loved all of my students so much. But when my oldest daughter was in my womb, I decided that, of course, I had to be the perfect mother. And in my opinion, the perfect mother meant staying home and raising her myself and any other kids that come along after. Well, after my first daughter was born, I had extreme and severe postpartum anxiety. Partially, I was triggered by a very traumatic birth experience, which caused me to have a 3rd-degree tear, and I had to have repair surgery after my second daughter was born. After my second daughter was born, I had my surgery. The birth of my second daughter was kind of a piece of cake when it comes to giving birth. So all that worked out well. And then I just wanted to be able to stay home. I wanted to drive them back and forth to preschool. I wanted to be home with them. Once my oldest was in kindergarten, I wanted to be home when she got off the school bus. I wanted to be the involved mom at school, knowing, just being ready to volunteer for field trips, being ready to volunteer for school parties. And as she got older, when she joined like middle school musicals, I was the mom who is going to make sure that the cast or that the musical directors got the appropriate gifts and that everyone in the cast got something small as a gift, and I wanted to be part of the cast party, and I just wanted to be one of those moms that was just like the cheerleader of the entire crew, and I did that. And my daughter was in not 6th grade because of COVID, 7th grade when that happened, and I was like the cheerleader mom. I went and I it was actually more like babysitting kids in the hallway during musical practice. And I was just one of those moms that was there for whatever was needed during that time. And then my oldest daughter decided to join softball. And then I, of course, wanted to be the mom that would bring snacks to all the games. There was another mom that would like keep the books. But I was like, maybe when Hannah's in 8th grade, maybe I'll be the one that will keep the books for all the games and I'll just be that person. And meanwhile, I had my job at home working on my website called Happy Deal Happy Day. I still own that website. I also own an additional website called weirdthingsforyou.com, which I have not completely built up yet, but I'm hoping that as I get better, that will be something that I can tackle. Um, but let's see. Let me go back to my COVID timeline now instead of my family timeline. My COVID timeline, March 2020, everything shut down. I was very nervous about my parents getting sick. They're both in their 70s. They both have a handful of health problems. My mother probably has more than one handful of health problems. She probably has more like 5 handfuls of health problems. And the thought of them getting COVID pretty much meant a death sentence. And my husband and I took it very seriously because it wasn't just my parents, but his parents too. That if they got a severe form of COVID, that we could be facing a funeral. And at that time, we would have called ourselves very conservative Christians who weren't very involved in our church. Prior to COVID hitting, though, I will say it was the grace of God that opened my eyes to something different. And I realized that the church that I had been involved in for 20 years since I was in college, it finally was revealed to me that there were things that were very off. There were things that were very unbiblical. There were things that the leaders were trying to cover up. There was money that was stolen from missionaries. And I finally said, enough is enough. I'm done here. But there was other people, because there was also a court case involving the pastor's son. There was also other people that decided, I'm done. And doing the math in my brain, because I'm not stupid, I realized if X, Y, and Z leave the church, that's a heck of a lot of money that goes towards the mortgage of the property. And if X, Y, and Z, and then like ZZ and AA and BB and CC also leave, which they did, there was no way that church was going to survive. And I am proud to say that as of May 30th, 2023, the church that I formerly went to since I was 19 years old has completely disintegrated. The building has been sold to someone else and is no longer in existence. And I would say it was one of those churches that could have been borderline occult. It was very legalistic. I would say it was abusive at times. More people left than stayed. And it became a place, for me personally, when I think about it, it became a place of trauma, which is really unfortunate because I poured my heart and soul into that so-called ministry. And I just realized that the people in charge and the elders in charge, and thinking about their hearts may have been in the right place of trying to do the right thing for the congregates, but really what it came down to is that they were just flat out abusive. And through much counseling, much book reading, much digging through this, scar, this, I hate to use trauma over and over again, but to me, it really just was like an emotionally traumatic experience. And when I left, that meant losing relationships with people that I was close with for a very long time. And that was the most difficult part for me. Leaving the church was one thing. Telling the pastor how I really felt was very freeing. But the people who I thought that would still have my back after I left, and I found out they didn't, I think that was the most hurtful for me. Then fast forward literally just a few months into COVID. COVID hit March 2020. I'm scared for my parents' lives. I have a biology degree. I'm all about wearing a mask and protecting other people. I know that the Bible says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. And then I look around me and I see people at my new church. I see friends from my old church that may not still be at my old church, but might be in limbo and figuring out what they're doing. And all of a sudden, I see them waving the flag of so-called freedom of I'm not wearing a mask. And that just put me on my knees like no other. And I said, oh my dear God, they're not willing to protect other people from this disease. They want herd immunity. They do not know what this virus can do. It's a novel virus. Yes, it's a coronavirus, which is like the common cold. And we know how the common cold reacts. And young people that are healthy may have minimal symptoms, and some people may have no symptoms at all. But then when you look at New York City, when 30,000 plus individuals have lost their lives, and I end up talking to some of my church friends about it, and they're making some weirdo, wackadoo conspiracy theory stories about why they died, I was just dumbfounded and floored. And then I realized they weren't safe people. And then I got sick. I was being so protective of myself, but it was my birthday in the middle of January, and I told my husband, I just desperately need to get out of the house. This was 2021. This was after the lockdown. And I was like, I just really need to get out of the house. Can we please just go out for my birthday? And we went out for my birthday, January 2021. And then 5 days after going to that restaurant is when I started showing symptoms of COVID. And eventually it came to pass that it really was COVID. And then I started showing the symptoms. And then those symptoms decided to not go away for 4 months until I got the vaccine. So it was like right in the time when the vaccine was just starting to come out. But not out, like, because I got the vaccine in April. I got sick in January. I got the vaccine in April. I'm pretty sure I signed up for the vaccine like as soon as I could. So there were 4 months there. The first couple of weeks I was, sick with COVID. I would say it was genuinely a mild infection. I didn't have like major struggling breathing. I didn't have a major cough. To me, the biggest thing was muscle aches and fatigue. And then after 10 days, and I locked myself in my bedroom, and I was isolated from my family, and my husband brought me meals. He would just open our bedroom door and just kind of shove them in the door. And I thought I really at that point thought that was like, oh my goodness, I am living the worst life possible, because I had to spend 10 days in isolation. And little did I know what was coming for me in my future. So I eventually got a little bit better, but then I don't know, I felt better for like 4 or 5 days. And then all of a sudden, I was back in bed with the same muscle aches and the same fatigue. And it didn't go away for 4 months. And I decided to get the vaccine because that's when it first came out. And there was evidence saying that the vaccine would help with long COVID. So I got the vaccine, and literally, like that afternoon, I started feeling better. And a week later, I'm like, I think I'm all better. And it was a miracle. And I could not believe it. And I was so excited that my journey with long COVID was over. But now that this video is already 18 minutes long, I'm going to leave it here. And I'm going to say my journey from COVID, unfortunately, did not end after getting my first vaccine. And I want to tell you more about that, and I will get there. But for now, I'm going to sign off, and I hope that anyone who is struggling with long COVID or with POTS or chronic fatigue syndrome or with other weirdo symptoms that no one can put their finger on, and they just keep telling you you're a long hauler, please, please, please continue to watch my videos. I want to share my journey. I want to share what I've been through. And my biggest hope is that I can help someone else that has been through the same hell or is living the same hell that I am living, so that we can help one another and that we can say to each other in 6 months to a year, hallelujah, that season of my life is done. I have my life back, and we're moving forward. And that's my biggest prayer, hope, wish, whatever you want to call it. That is why I'm making this series of videos. So for today, I'm going to sign off, but please continue to watch. I know all the YouTubers are like, subscribe, like my channel. And to me, I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just talking to a monitor. But if you want to continue to hear my story, I guess the best way to do that is to subscribe. I guess the best way to do that is to like my video, because that's truly all I'm going for. I'm not here to make money. I haven't worked in so long. That is not my goal. But if you are here and you're struggling like me, and you want to talk to someone else or leave comments and just have a mutual going back and forth about how to get through this hellish season, then keep watching, because I'm hoping to keep making these videos. And I know it's July 4th. I'm hoping many of you are out celebrating. I myself was going to go to a friend's house and celebrate today, but per usual, I don't have enough energy to get off my couch. Maybe I'll go sit in my pool in a little while, if I can gain the energy. But mostly I just sit on my couch, watch stupid YouTube videos, and waste my time, because I don't know how else to live right now. And if you are like me, then please bookmark or save or comment or reach out to me or something. We can stay in contact, because I'd love to be able to support other people that are in the same shoes as me. And with that, I will say happy 4th of July. I hope you can gain some independence in your own body, just as our country gained independence 200 and I believe 70 some years ago. And it sucks the season we're in, but we're not alone. There should be light at the end of the tunnel. There should be an end in sight. And let's try to find that light together. And with that, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.